So thank you very much for joining me.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you're a CineVic member. You're pretty active. You've been using your gear actually for music videos, which is pretty awesome.
For a long time, yeah.
Yeah. What's the most recent project you guys are working on?
Well, we just finished, we just did a music video last month, like really rushed, quick, like 1 month job. And then, upcoming, we're kind of just, Oliver just finished a script for a short, and we've just been starting to like figure out how to produce that, and kind of like early stage of that, basically.
And I'm sorry, the band again was, we can bleep it if we need to. So
It's called Dusted.
Yeah.
It's Dusted. Oh, it's not the same band that you did the Trump video
it was
for.
Holy Fuck.
Oh, it
but
was, okay.
It's the main guy from Holy Fuck's side project.
Yeah.
So it kind of came off of that last job. Yeah.
The Donald Trump video you shot, sorry, what was the song called again?
House of Glass.
House of Glass, yeah, it's actually doing pretty well online.
Yeah, it was like, luckily, mainly because of the video staff pick, basically.
That was also the last one to be funded by Much Fact,
Mm-hmm.
too, if I recall.
Yeah, it was the last round.
Yeah, we kind of snuck in with that. It was like this sort of improbable series of events.
Yeah.
Where we like cold emailed the band basically, so we like their music, and we'll like come up with this sort of outlandish idea for the music video. And they were sort of happy to do it as long as we could get some funding for it, because they can already gone through their album cycle, and so we pitched it, not imagining that it would actually get approved, and it did, and so we ended up making it.
And it was a lot of work.
And that's actually kind of a part of Canadian music video history, because it was the very last Much.
I think so,
Correct.
yeah. As far as I can tell. It's hard to know, though, because the website is just completely gone. Everything's gone.
Oh, they scrubbed it.
Yeah, like everything. By the time they paid us, it was just like, it didn't exist online. It's really weird.
We have this sort of theory that maybe we actually got the funding for the video because it was the last hurrah of the grant.
Yeah, they're just
So
like,
they're
screw it. Let's do this weird one. Yeah.
Let's make fun of Trump and then
Let's fund this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you two collaborate on everything. I was asking you earlier who's kind of the ideas man.
Mm-hmm.
Who came up with the Trump concept?
Yeah, so it's kind of like an idea always usually comes from one person, and then we kind of both build it together.
Yeah.
So, like with the Trump one, it's like I kind of wrote this initial version that was it's kind of like half of what we ended up shooting, and then we kind of expanded it, and like that's where Oliver came in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually what happens, is something like that, where it expands out.
Yeah, like that one was like particularly weird situation, because like I was saying, we almost like Will came up with the original concept separate from any actual project. It was almost like a short film, and then we figured we'd try and make it happen through doing a music video, which is almost the reverse typically of, at least in our experience, the way music video projects go, which is like a band comes to you with a song, and then you come up with some sort of concept or treatment based on the song that you think fits it.
Yeah.
And this we did the reverse, where we had an idea and then found a band and then picked a song to go with it. But it worked out really well in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really good video. Actually, another one of yours that one of our other members that I interviewed today, Justice Lowry, was talking about was shot on a submarine. What's the story with that?
Right.
How did that happen?
It was in 2015, I think. Or maybe even started in 2014.
Yeah.
I think it started in 2014. But we'd been watching a lot of submarine movies. Like, we got in this weird phase of watching submarine movies, and then that got us on the subject of like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of submarines like in Esquimalt. There just happens to be like the Navy yard there. So I kind of just cold emailed, like while we were watching a submarine movie, I kind of just like tried to find like a press email, because it's kind of just, that's something I've gotten used to. It's just kind of being like, all right, like I have this like very rough idea. I should just send an email and see if like anything comes of it. So I just sent like a quick like email to the press like outreach person at the Navy base, and then it was kind of like suddenly 2 weeks later, it was just like, oh, like we're taking your request seriously. Like here's like let's do a phone call, and then that was like, yeah. I mean, obviously there's so much red tape there, so it took, I think, like 3 months of kind of back and forth to get it booked. But yeah, in the end they gave us permission, and
Wow.
yeah, gave us an entire weekend basically on an active submarine. So like there was crew on the submarine, and we were kind of shooting around it, and they had like stipulations of what we could show. So it was like, okay, you can't show the engine room or like, you know, certain areas. I mean, yeah, it was a very difficult and unique shoot because, you know, it was so limited in terms of space and like even power and stuff like that.
It's a good example of you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
The moral of the story is just like,
Just email. Yeah, just email.
You know, the worst thing that happens is nobody replies to you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you can get really crazy stuff.
It's kind of a good lesson for indie filmmakers in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just go for it, and the worst that
Oh,
can
for
happen is
sure.
you're told no.
Yeah.
Especially with like locations where someone would just write it off and be like, "There's just no way."
Yeah.
Because yeah, like these things do happen, and like there's always someone. Like the reason that actually happened was just because like that email came in, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have like that UVic student who's like, they're what's like that called when someone's
Kind of like a
when someone's working at like
An intern?
yeah, an intern
Yeah.
basically. They had like a UVic intern, and they were like, "Hey, why don't you figure out how to make this happen?" So they put this person on it for like 4 months to like do all the paperwork for it, basically. So there was just like, you know, these big, you know, something like the Navy. There's so many people that are involved and have nothing to do. So it's just like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let's do this. Yeah.
It's actually surprising how many members of the Navy are actually filmmakers or artists.
Oh, really?
I've met, I don't think I should name names,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I've met multiple people in the Navy that are also involved in film. And, you know, you have your own assumptions about these things. I wouldn't
Yeah.
assume that. I would
Mhm.
think, like, big meatheads, but they're actually
Yeah.
artists. It's awesome.
Yeah, and part of the reason too is because the musician that we were pitching the video to the Navy for, one of the people had listened to Aiden's music before, so they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I know Aiden. Like that sounds kind of cool." Yeah, so we actually had a lot more in common than we thought, I guess.
Do you actually have any words of advice to other filmmakers that maybe aren't sure how to get started, other than just go for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just, yeah, like trying to make stuff happen and just going for it, and also just like not getting discouraged. Because like obviously filmmaking is difficult, but you're gonna like face a lot of rejection and hurdles, and that's kind of like the process of filmmaking. Like that even happens like when you get to a high level. But it's just like about doing it over and over again and getting practice and like not getting hung up on. I think it's really easy to get hung up too on like gear and like
Yeah.
really like specific process things, or like making a specific project like really perfect, like agonizing over it for a really long time. And it's like more about just like do lots of stuff, like, you know, and just get, you know, a lot of experience under your belt, even if it's just you like going out and like shooting something with your iPhone or whatever.
And before you know it, you'll be filming on submarines
Yeah.
and making fun
That's
of
right.
President Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Well, Oliver, Will, thank you very much for coming out and doing this interview. It's
Yeah,
been
of course.
fun.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
a lot.
you.